Em xin chào tất cả mọi người. Hôm nay là ngày 11 tháng 9 và chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau kể về câu chuyện K-pop. Thực sự thì khi mà nói về 11 tháng 9 thì mình tự nhiên thì nghĩ trong đầu đó là cái vụ phóng hỏa tháp đôi ở New York đúng không? Và cũng nhớ ngày hôm qua, nhưng ngày hôm qua là tròn một năm cái vụ lũ sạp ở làng ở bạn bạn ghi rồi em không nhớ rõ tên và đã cướp đi mạng sống của rất là nhiều người bảo Giang Nghi. Thì những cái tin tức như vậy thì làm cho mình rất là buồn, nhưng mà bù lại thì mình sẽ nhận ra rằng là mình rất là trân quý cái cuộc sống hiện tại của mình, được sống dậy mỗi ngày khỏe mạnh, được có công ăn việc làm là đã một cái điều gì đó rất là vững vàng, rất là lớn từ thượng đế rồi đấy. Và hôm nay thì có cái phước lành nữa là lớn, đó là thời tiết hôm nay thì cực kỳ đẹp ở Hà Nội mọi người ạ. Hà Nội chắc là vào thu rồi, thế nên là không khí rất lắm cơ. Thế nếu như mà được một lần vào thu Hà Nội thì một lần đến Hà Nội vào mùa thu, mọi người hãy đến thử. Bởi vì thực sự thì cái không khí của Hà Nội vào mùa thu rất là mát, rất là trong trẻo và đáng yêu. Thì hình như có rất là nhiều bài thơ hay bài hát về mùa thu Hà Nội. Và một lần nữa thì em lại cảm thấy rất là biết ơn vì mình được ở vào trong cái mùa thu Hà Nội, được cảm nhận những cái điều rất là tuyệt vời xảy ra trong cái mùa thu này. Rồi, bây giờ chúng ta cùng nhau bắt đầu nha. Oh, I forgot. Actually, today we're gonna speak English, right? Yeah. So we're just gonna tell the pen story, and then we're gonna move back into the pen story. So what is this? It's the pen. What do we use a pen for? To write. Now there is a dog inside the room. I'm gonna wave this in front of the dog. What does the dog do? The dog probably was nearly got you. That's right. Does the dog see this one as a pen? No. So for the dog, this one is not a pen, but for the human, this one is a pen. So who is correct, the dog or the human? The answer is both correct. For the dog, this one is a chewing toy, while for the human, this one is a pen to write. The dog is correct in the dog world, and the human is also correct in the human world. So that is our first lesson. Both are correct. Now, let's imagine that there is a table in front of me. So I'm going to put this thing on the table, and then both the dog and I will walk out the room. So inside the room, there'll be no human, no dog. What does this thing become? Is it still a pen or a chewing toy? Oh, it becomes almost nothing, and the ancient wisdom called this one as the emptiness. The emptiness is actually a very magical definition. As we understand the emptiness, we'll be able to achieve anything in our life, just like Michael Roche applied the emptiness into his business and was able to build a business with a revenue of $250 million a year. He's also able to help several refugees. So what is the emptiness? Why is that so magical? So let's go back to the pen story again, okay? So the thing currently on the table when there is no human, no dog. So this is nothing to interact with. So this one, it come back to true self, okay? So the emptiness is not nothingness. It's not, this is not black. This is not darkness. It's not white. It's not no feeling, no emptiness or something like no feeling or no sadness, no happiness. It's just a self. The self with nothing interacting with us, just like ourselves when we have no interact with other people. But as soon as I go back into the room and look at this becomes a pen. When the dog come back to the room and the dog look at this becomes a chewing toy. And when both the dog and I come back to the room at the very same time, we both look at this at the very same time, what does this thing becomes? It becomes too thin, a pen for me and a chewing toy for the dog. So a single thing when there's no human, no dog, nothing to interact with. Okay? So it's come back to true self, we call it the emptiness. But this very same thing, okay, have the potential to become anything or anyone, depending on who or what is looking at this at the very moment. So that is our second lesson, along with the emptiness we all have and this potential. Now I see this as a pen. So does this pen coming from me or does this pen coming from the thing itself? This pen is actually coming from me. Why am I so certain? Because if this thing is a pen, it's not the dog or anything in this entire universe, we have to see it for what it is, which is a pen. But does the dog see this one as a pen? No. So this pen is actually coming from me. This pen is actually coming from my mind. And everything is actually coming from our mind. So that is our third lesson. Everything is actually coming from our mind. So we all agree that this pen is coming from my mind, right? So I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to make this one become a diamond, okay? So please pray with me. Diamond, diamond, diamond. Open my eyes. Still a pen. So what in my mind that forced me to see this as a pen but not a diamond? There are said inside our mind that the ancient wisdom calls us karma. When we see something that sits inside our mind, Baba opened up and covered this and made us see it for what had been planted only into our mind. So who planted those seeds into our mind? Only you can plant the seed into your mind, and only I can plant the seed into my mind. How can we do it? We do it by three ways: by our word, by our actions, by our thoughts, especially toward other people. So for instance, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to say that I have a pen. Would you like to have this pen? And when my friend say yes, please, I'd be so happy to give this to my friend with the hope that I can help my friend. So when I give this to my friend, this palm will open up, and both me and my friend will see it and start leaving mark in my mind. A couple of days later, when I see this, I recognize this one as a pen, which means that the seed of the pen has already planted into my mind. And I pop up, open up and cover this and made me see it for what had, like what I've been planted on into my mind, which is a pen. And this is how a pen become a pen, or anything surround us become what and who they are to us. In the pen story, there are several meaningful lessons. Today we went over 4 different lessons. The first lesson is both corrupt. So we learn to respect each other's opinion. We learn to respect each other's choices, and we learn to listen to each other with a compassionate heart. And with that, I want to stress the importance of being able to listen to yourself with a compassionate heart, to acknowledge yourself, to understand yourself, to respect yourself. Once you be able to fulfill all that, you build the love, the trust, and the respect among yourself first. Then you can spread that to other people. And that is actually the gift of happiness. Because first you have to build the happiness within yourself, right? And then you start giving the happiness, spreading the happiness to other people, and getting the happiness from other people as well. So that is our first lesson. The second lesson is, along with the emptiness, we all have limitless potential. And as I already told you, the emptiness is just what we truly are when no, we do not interact with anyone, when we are just by ourselves. However, in reality, we always interact with someone else or something else, right? So we always has the potential. So we can be, so like me, I can be a good mother, I can be a bad mother, I can be a lazy mother, I can be a responsible mother. So what kind of mother I wanted to be to my kids. And even with my kids, I have 2 kids, right? So my daughter and my son. So, okay, so with the job, each of them I have different potential. What they look into me, that's the potential of what I can be. And what we look into that, right? So we learn to look into the potential, to trust our potential and the potential of everyone and everything surround us. And we work toward that potential while acknowledging our emptiness, what we truly are, okay? Our weakness, our strength. And then we work toward developing the strength and then accepting the weakness, okay? So that we can be the best version of ourselves in any kind of relationship, any kind of interaction to other people. So that is our second lesson. Lesson number 3 is, along with it, is everything is actually coming from the seed inside our mind. So we be 100% responsible to whatever happened to us. And we don't blame anyone, because in the end, we are the only one who can plant the seed into our mind using our word, our action, our thoughts to other people. So when we know that, then we take the full responsibility of our life, right? But we also take the full charge of our life as well. So we have the capability to change our life in any kind of direction that we want. Whether, and whether whatever that the situation is all up to us to decide how our life want to be. And it's all within us. And I think this is something that are very, very important, because just like Stoicism has been teaching us, is that once we be able to control ourselves, our thought, our minds, our action, that is where we be, and then that is when the external thing wouldn't be able to affect us. And this lesson is about the same thing. So when we be able, we know that everything in our life is coming from our mind. Then we take the full charge of our mind. That is when we take the full charge of our life. And the external thing, the environment, the other people, there will be a voice, there will be an effect. But we are the one who decide how that thing can affect us. So be very mindful of that, okay? And the fourth lesson is how we can incorporate all those lessons into building our dream life in a very certain way. So first, we have to know what we want in our life, our dream life, by using our second lesson, the emptiness and the potential. And then we start planting those seeds using our word, our action, our thoughts to other people. So for instance, if I want to have a happiness, then I use my word, my action, my thought, helping other people to be happier. If I want to have prosperity, then I use my word, my action, my thought, helping other people to have more prosperity. And you're wondering how that actually help us to be better and to get what we want, especially how you can get rich when you're helping other people to get rich. So the thing, the secret of that is that, all your way of doing that, when you help other people, you're actually approaching that potential yourself. That is will be able to achieve that. And then, the lesson that I would like to share with you all today is yesterday I have a webinar. I'm actually the host of a webinar. And it was that webinar for Dr. Techners about retinopathy of prematurity, something in related to your retina of the eyes when the baby were born prematurely and this affect the eyes. So and then if they this disease, you will be able to diagnosis, to assess it, to diagnosis, and to treat it early as well to follow up through the baby lifetime. You'll be able to preserve the vision for the baby. But if not, then get it early enough. If you don't treat it early enough, and if you don't follow up with the patient in a long time, then the chance of the patient getting lose their vision will be high, very high, almost absolutely. And it is actually bilateral, which is both side. So and think about it, the baby were born okay, with the eye. But then because of the disease, they lost their eye, and then that the loss is very early in their life. So that's the whole life in blindness. Unfortunately, the retinopathy or prematurity is not something is actually a very very specific niche, and it's involved the babies, the newborn, the premature baby. So there's a lot of liability and a lot of stress involved. So not a lot of doctor really into that. So actually the webinar doesn't have a lot of participants like we used to do. But I actually really like this webinar because I provide very, very pertinent information for the doctor and for the parents. And in this webinar, most of the questions coming from the patient side. So I used to, all my webinar is for the doctor, to serve the doctor. Once in a while, this is the very rare webinar that we actually have the patient involved. So it's just being able to see the attentiveness that the speaker spend all his time to talk to the patient, to explain to the patient, okay, what's gonna happen, what we can do for this situation is a really magnificent thing. And it's also I feel very blessed to be able to get to know him because I think he's one of the top specialists of Vietnam, one of the very, very very first one that do a lot of procedure for ROP. So it's in regard to the number, it's not a successful webinar, but then I feel very happy because I believe that it's helped some of the patient, and then there's also I can see the improvement of the speaker too. Oh, thank you so much for listening to me today. Thank you, Love, for accompanying me in this 2000-day journey. And by me sharing with you the pain story of my lesson is something good, I would like to dedicate that to my dearest family, to my friends, to my coworkers, or to my clients, um, or any living things in this world, any other world, with love, wisdom, and gratitude. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.